am live. I am reading The Last Barrier, a Sufi journey by Reshad Feilds. In fact, I'm finished with it. The last chapter was chapter 11, but there was an epilogue, but the signal kept going. So this is now the last little bit, the third reading of the epilogue. Reshad Feild describes his journey in Turkey in 1976. Reshad passed away in 2016. He met his teacher Hamid and spent time in Turkey and went back home, or was on his way back home. Hear his last conversations with Hamid before he leaves. "Do not be afraid," he said. "Few people are given this chance. You have only to surrender to the power that brings everything into being, and you will be safe." Again I opened, letting go of all resistance. From out of the sound grew a vision of worlds being born, of whole galactic systems bursting into life, of light crystallizing into form, and I heard a voice saying to me, "Know and understand. For every true act of surrender a man or woman makes, a galactic system is born. And whenever a human being finds his true self, a universe bursts into life. Now that you have seen and been seen, you may feel at peace that you have never known." As the vision faded, I felt I had known a glimpse of the understanding of perfection. It was possible to accept unconditionally what is, what has been, what will be. Everything was there. There was neither beginning nor end. The Creator and that which was created were one. Everything is in one moment. Everything is Him. That is the secret of predestination. Nothing has ever happened, for everything is already here. The overwhelming presence radiated a peace that truly passed all understanding. And there was no more separation. He and I were as one. And the peace that I felt from Him was within myself, in the realization of the unity and perfection of God. It seemed that there was nothing further to do. There was only to be. For a long time I sat on the mountain, facing Him. In realization, there is no time. The earth turned, the seasons came and went, women and men were born and died. Worlds came into being, all passing through the space in which I sat. All the masters, saints and prophets throughout time manifested on that stage, and as they told their stories, they were swept into the eternity of being. In that perfect peace, I realized that all the great teachers were coming out of that presence of being and passing on their way, just as they were the suns, just as were the suns and the stars, the lightning and the rain and the children that were being born. Then I heard the voice of Hamid. "It is time for you to open your eyes, but prepare yourself carefully, for what you see will shock you. This is the last test of this stage of our journey together, the last barrier that you must overcome. I want you to bring your consciousness slowly back to the world. Can you feel your body? Good. Now become aware of your breathing. Listen to the breath of your heart. Feel the blood coursing through your veins. Move your fingers around a little. Feel your body. Smell the mountain air. Taste the saliva in your mouth." Suddenly I felt very confused. It was neither in the real world that I had been experiencing, nor did I seem to be in the world that I had left in the valley. I could hear Hamid's voice, but in my bewilderment I did not know where it was coming from. I moved my fingers and breathed deeply. I tried to become more and more aware of my body sitting there on the mountainside. "Now, very slowly, open your eyes. Suddenly I understood what it was to be completely alone. There was no one there. I shut my eyes again and tried to understand. Was I dreaming? Where was I? Where was Hamid? Where was the master whom Hamid had called perfected man? I was completely alone outside that cave on the mountainside. There was no one there, not even a stone on which he had been sitting. In front of me was the cave. Behind me stretched the valley and a path that I had climbed to reach this place. I did not dare move my head for a moment. I could only try to sense with my eyes what was happening. Now turn around and face the valley. Go on, turn now, turn. Slowly I turned back. Look out there across the valley. That is your world. In the valley are all the people who are waiting to climb this mountain to know the truth. And now you have one last task. As your act of dedication in this world, you must finally surrender your life to a life of service. There is no master on the mountain. That was a play of imagination, and yet it is so that until we come to love God perfectly, we cannot know love. Love is brought to life within you as you surrender to God, so there is only Him, and thus the possibility of perfected man. And all that you have ever needed to know is here, now, within you. As you die to yourself, you are reborn in eternity, in which everything that has ever been or ever will be is waiting to be released, to bring life to dying mankind. This is a terrible freedom, but it is the only real freedom. Once more I looked about me. There was no one there, no movement on the dust of the path, no stone upon which he had sat. I was alone. I breathed slowly and silently, watching the rise and fall of my breath. My back was sore where it had rubbed against the rough bark of the olive tree. My legs were cramped and they had lost all feeling. I must have been sitting there a long time. The scene was changing. The valley that stretched out before me gave way to a dried-up riverbed, winding its way down to the sea. Cicadas whirred in the olive grove, and in the distance I thought I could hear the surf in the bay. Then I felt a hand on my arm, and I looked up at Hamid. His eyes were deep with love and confidence. He smiled. "Come, Reshad," he said. "We must go home. They will be waiting for us." Right, that was the end. I have already read another book by Reshad, the one which followed this one, which was a lovely love story actually. I can't think what it was called. Oh, The Invisible Way. That was a lovely book. I've also read the audio. I hope you have a lovely Thursday, the 31st of July.